Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Mike Haspil, and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Greetings and felicitations.
So it's a cold one out there. It's been a unique day. You probably can't see. Well, most of you can't see me because you're listening to a podcast. But we're all basically wearing a hat except for Kenny. I think his hair counts as a hat.
Hair does count as hats. It's a fact.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny's hair, we'll give him that's a hat. It's a California hat.
It's also like 70 degrees outside, so like I don't need a hat inside my own home.
It's got to be like basically like California and Florida, like the only one that are decent temperatures right now. It's got to be. I don't know. I need to look at a map. Somebody get me a map.
Don't encourage Rob to look at maps. He gets high to fucking maps.
I try to stay away from maps.
It's a thing. He's got a problem, dude.
So I found some artwork, like a painting of my neighborhood that was drawn in like 1903 or 1906. I don't know for sure. I forget what it was dated. And I like literally looked at this painting. It's a landscape painting. And I was like, oh, there's where my house is, even though it's like woods because it's not built yet. And I was like, hey, my house is right there.
Wait a minute.
It's just in the painting.
Is this a way of you using a painting as a map?
I don't have to answer that.
It kind of seems like it is, man. Like it's kind of like you turn it into a pirate map.
Oh, that's clever.
This guy and his fucking maps, I'm telling you.
I don't know, man. We're all good at something.
We do. It's funny. We have Mike Haspil. We have him for a Haspil's Corner. He's been busy for busting his ass. And then Wyatt had to boost out just before we started the show.
Mm-hmm.
So we did have all four of the crew here, and that is you can see that in the after hours. So if you jump onto the old paywall, you can see all that and get with Wyatt and all his shenanigans. But we did pre-record a Would You Rather, and I'll just slot that in right now, being a super fucking professional that I am.
You have to take that part out that you just said when you slot it in.
Do I, though?
Otherwise, they'll know.
Wyatt's Cave of Wonders. What you got for us?
Ooh. Would you rather always have sand in your underpants or always have wet socks?
That could be dangerous.
Yeah, you can't have wet socks. You got to keep your feet dry. Everyone knows.
I mean, asking the gin real quick. Do I have any extra magical protections against chafing or gangrene?
Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, that's most of them are like that.
Okay, so it's more like I'm just that level of discomfort without like
Yes.
the medical issues associated.
Yeah, and I mean like wet drippy socks.
Okay, so he's just fucking with my comfort level. He's not giving me gangrene or jungle foot. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So like you're walking around in like drippy socks, or it's like you're at work and they're like, where the fuck is all this sand coming from?
Now,
like there's just sand in the hallways.
now, if I try to wear flip flops, am I forced to have magical wet socks?
Oh yeah, you're wearing black socks with flip flops, like straight dad mode.
But they're wet.
And they're wet. Yes.
Nice.
And does it make the squishy noise? Like,
Of course.
Yep. Okay.
Does it leave moisture like in my wake when I'm walking around?
Yeah.
Just like the sand is being left in my wake.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
You never get away. They'll always find you.
Man, both of these suck. I mean, damn. So it's going to ruin some boots, though. That's for damn sure. It's like an endless supply of moisture. It never dries out. So can I take the socks off and wash them every now and then? Or is it just normal? Any sock I put on is magically just soaking wet?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Second one.
But with no health effect, no negative health repercussions.
Yes.
And a bunch. What kind of sand we're talking? We're talking like nice fine grit, high quality beach sand, or just like regular trash beach.
Construction sand.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say beach sand, but like beach
clean
sand
fill.
is not the same, so it's not going to be like the ideal.
Am I gonna get like a random like seashell tucked under the sack?
Oh, that's not sand.
Only sand. Okay.
I think I know what I go with because I know what happens. I have cats, and I know what happens when you have things like sand laying around. You get pooped on. So I think I'm going to go with the squishy socks. I'm not going to like it, but I'm not going to get pooped on.
Random
I'm
piles
gonna go
of
with
sand.
the sand.
You don't have cats.
No, I don't.
I'm on the fence on this one, but I think I'm gonna go with socks, wet socks, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be dealing with wet sand in about 5 minutes of sitting here because it's already like that down there. So I'm like, I'm just, like, it's not gonna just stay dry and like just sandy. It's gonna be pretty gross. So I'm gonna go with wet socks. I'm gonna deal with it. I'm just gonna be that weird guy with wet socks. I might even invest in a new type of boot. Maybe I'll just wear like Ray boots all the time.
Crocs.
It's like
Crocs. Ooh, I like that. I'm in Crocs.
Wearing Crocs.
They're airy and light.
Yeah. Maybe it'll just be my thing. Crocs, shorts, tank top.
If anybody can pull it off, it's definitely you.
Oh, I will pull it off a certain way. That's for damn sure. Like I don't know if I'm gonna be. Oh God, both of those are the two most uncomfortable things in like regular Monday life.
Yeah.
That's why I picked them.
Like the only thing I'd rate higher is like a hangnail.
Those are
Or
annoying.
stubbing your toe in the middle of the night.
Perpetual stub toe or hangnail.
There it is. That's the next one.
I think
Gotta be surprised. You can't expect it.
that's never going to happen now because we predicted it.
Yes, exactly.
No, he'll slide those in individually.
Oh, 2
I'll just
seconds.
wait like a year until
Yeah.
you don't remember.
It's a good one. Wyatt, thank you so much. I know you got to get out of here and handle business, so you're not going to hear Wyatt for the rest of the show.
All right. Later, guys.
Much love,
Bye.
homie.
Later.
Now, back from the Rob Baer Memorial Desk.
I'm still alive. I'm still here, guys.
Still here.
I'm still here. Thanks for coming back to me. Appreciate it. So we do have some new releases from the G-Dubs going on pre-order this weekend. Now, of course, they did just make an announcement that they shut down the North American warehouse because, well, from Texas pretty much to West Virginia right now, it's all effed up. So there's just abundance of caution, which makes sense. I get emails every morning from UPS and FedEx saying that there's national disruptions in their Memphis and Nashville hubs, and it's just bad news bears out there. So it makes sense. I ain't mad at it. If you're waiting on the Slaanesh release for this weekend, it started showing up in stores today. So your local game store.
We didn't get to talk to Mike last week about the Geld.
Oh yeah.
So we had a word problem. So like have you seen that guy? What's his name, Rob?
Sigsvold.
Sigsvold?
With the assless chaps on the back. He doesn't have any pants on.
The awesome Slaanesh AOS.
Oh, the dude. I think I've seen him because I thought it was Fulgrim.
Yeah,
Right?
But he's got horns on his head.
Yeah. But when I saw him, I was like, that is a dope Fulgrim. Oh, it's not Fulgrim.
So his name is, like, when you read the community page, Wyatt brought it up last week when we were doing our tax discussions. It says he's the Geld. Like, and he's like, we're like, no, like the Gilded, like he's covered in gold. No, it says Geld. It's right here in the article. So we're like, because I was like, this dude obviously fucks.
Yeah,
And Wyatt's like, I don't think he does. So, is it possible that, because someone mentioned like, well, that he has a German name and German Geld means something different? Or do you think it's...
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, the Geld that I know of that pops into my head immediately is something that you pay.
See, because I looked it up and it says money. Basically, it means
gold.
money in German.
Yeah, it's a Wehrgeld. It's like something that you owe. Like say me and Rob like were we went to war or something, or not even went to war, but like got into a fight or something, and I like hurt one of Rob's cats. In order for us to be back at peace, I have to pay him a weregeld to like make up for that. That's where I know that word.
Dope.
But
That sounds so much more legit, because why would they make a dope Slanesh dude who could not fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
I
mean,
I
he
don't
doesn't
know.
have any pants on. He's fucking.
That man.
But calling him the Geld.
Yeah. So like the goat?
Well, no, because there's a gelding, right? And that is a horse that
can't fuck.
basically is castrated. So
Right.
if they call him the Geld, he could be a eunuch.
Maybe he is.
I like your version of it.
So he could be a eunuch, though. That could be a thing. I don't know. I haven't really looked at that model. I think I saw a Sepulchre of Heroes meme about it. That's about all I saw.
Well, I wanted to have our actual official languager in the studio before we laid it to rest. He's the Geld Prince. That's his name.
Yeah, I don't know.
So thank you. That was just,
Maybe it'll get elaborated upon in the book.
GW might not put nearly as much thought into things like we do. Like, does this guy have a dick or not? Just tell me.
Well, he would. He just wouldn't have testes. Technically.
That's a new would you rather. Sorry for the interaction, Rob. I just wanted to circle back.
We got to write these down. So yeah, they shut down the North American warehouse, so a bit of delays, but you can get your very own Geld prints, hopefully at your local game store this weekend if it made it out before the great freezing came upon us. It's hard to say at this point. But going on pre-order this weekend is the Ultramarines Captain Uriel Ventress, that gangster from some olden days books, if you recall those in Black Library. I think he started with Nightbringer, if I recall correctly. There was like 4 or 5 more books with him in it, spread across a couple different characters. Pretty dope. So that will be $35 US. Now, stores supposedly, or local game stores, will be able to get 3 of them, but supposedly they can order more at some point. It's going to be hard to say. So if you want them, it looks like he's got some pretty decent rules for 110 points as well. Definitely going to have to pre-order them early, hopefully from your local game store, but you may have to hit up the secondary market for that bad boy. And basically buying anything on the secondary market now, new in box, is like immediate double retail price. It is crazy how much stuff's going for on eBay or even Amazon.
Earlier today, Haspil lost a hot bid on eBay during the after hours live on the show.
Yep.
What were you trying to get?
It was actually over. It's been over for hours. I just remembered live on the show that I was bidding on some Death Watch. Some Death Watch guys,
So
just to
painted or
flush
just
out.
new in box?
No, just assembled. So I was like,
we need to talk. What do you need?
Yeah.
I've got
I
a
was
bunch.
just looking for some dudes, some Primaris guys with the Death Watch shoulder pads on them. That's primarily what I was bidding on, because I was like, all my Death Watch are from they're the easy to build ones, so I can't change out their shoulder pads.
But you can buy those icon packs from Paco's the
Done,
monkey.
done and done.
The little convex ones on the side.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's got different
already.
symbols for different chapters. I think the Death Watch pack comes with completely different symbols, so you can hook it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. There's a bunch of books because it is the Black Library weekend
Celebration.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Well, it used to be the Weekender. I think usually the second week of February was Black Library Weekender and Horus Heresy Weekender together. So obviously they're a little behind. It's not quite the same this year, but hey, we got something. So Hammers of Ulrich 20th anniversary hardback for $30. The Penitent hardback $27. Pariah hardback. I think these are both Eisenhorn.
No, they're the lady.
Yeah, Ravenhorn.
No. These aren't Ravenor either. They're the lady.
Shoot.
It's Dan Abnett. They're both.
Yeah, it's
Dan,
Abnett.
but they're the lady. I don't remember her name.
Messing it all up. But they're both $27. You can scoop those up. Uriel Adventures, The Sword of Calth, hardback. So it's a New Adventures. $19. There's also a bookmark, which is kind of cool, but it's $18.50.
Yeah, somebody helped me out in the chat. It's Beckwin. That's her name.
There it is. Yeah,
Beckwin.
A Dead Man Walking paperback for $9.99. Malice Darkblade, the Demon Curse paperback. That was a great series. Great
that's an old world story.
Yeah.
So
oh man,
that's kind of cool.
Miss me some Malice Darkblade. And the Black Library Celebration 2021 novel is Freezies if you can get it. So that's kind of cool.
And the Liber Xenologis, which is pretty cool.
Oh, I think that might be a web exclusive, so I didn't.
No.
Yeah, I think it is. You have to get on there at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Scoop it up.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that one.
It does look pretty cool. I do want to talk about some other stuff that's not the G-Dub. So first up, new Kickstarter's out right now. It's called Battle FX for Tyranids. So that's from Deadly Print Studio, and they're doing a Kickstarter. It's mostly just Tyranids, but it's cool because it's 3D prints. You buy the STLs, and you can have all these cool effects. Like they have these bits for like the Turvagon coming up out of the ground. Like there's dirt and rocks and shit flying everywhere. And the Zoanthrope's like deflecting like incoming fire with his like force fields and shit. And they all look great, and they really specialized on just the Tyranid stuff. So if you're into Tyranids, definitely check.
Yeah, this isn't their first Kickstarter, right? You've been talking about these guys for some time now. Like they've been putting out some sick shit.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with the amount of stuff they put out with. Like you can buy all the SDLs, or you can buy the prints from them, and I think they're out of Spain. I may be misspeaking. I gotta get people and companies mixed up sometimes, but so there will be a bit of a shipping delay depending on where you are and stuff, but they will print them and ship them to you as well if you don't have that functionality. But you can buy the STLs, and the cool thing about it is, like, say you want, for me, I bought a couple of things. I bought the Inceptor smoke packs. So they basically have smoke coming down out of the jet packs to use as their flight stand. And if you play Custodes, the Venatare models, they also have those stupid flight stands. So and it's really hard to get like the magnets in there for magnet bearing. So I was just like, man, I was really looking for some, and they have smoke for them now too. So
that's awesome
for their single jetpack. So they've got a bunch of cool stuff. I'm underselling it. They have great effects for a lot of different kits out there. So at least check out Deadly Print Studio, even if Tyranids aren't your thing right now. But if they are, well, they got the Kickstarter up and going right now. It's already been funded. So it's still got some time on it. Still got some legs. The other stuff I want to talk about. Oh, Wargame exclusive. Their Phoenix models are coming out. They're not Warp Spiders. Are up for sale right now on their website. So that looks pretty cool. That's just a single model. And I think... actually, no, that was Janzar. I think that was Janzar. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was their not Janzar, to be quite honest. But that is up for pre-order right now, Wargame exclusive. So they've been putting out about one miniature a week, give or take, over the last like couple of weeks here. And it looks like they're going to transition into doing plastic bases too. So with lots of detail and stuff on those, but they haven't had a release date on that. And Creature Caster actually announced today that they are going to be doing a Kickstarter for their partnership with Judgment. So I think it's April. They're going to have lots more models, in the smaller scale to use on those hex boards for the Judgment MOBA game as well. So they're going to be revamping a lot of rules, but also coming out with models, and they're all looking good so far. So definitely be on the lookout for that one right there.
What about your boys from Dark God?
Yeah, I mean, have we not talked about them yet at all?
I was supposed to paint on it this week, but things happened. I've got it now.
So yeah, Dark Gods did a Kickstarter a few weeks back. I think it was funded, and they got all the files and everything, and they're actually coming out with more and more models. Kenny's going to be painting up the toads that they're doing. which are really great looking models, and you can use them for a lot of things like Beasts of Nurgle or even the Plague Toads, which I think they went to.
Toad. Yeah, they're just
Spawns. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kenny's going to be painting those up. They're actually available. We sell them on the 3D made to order marketplace. So you can scoop them up there, or you can get the STLs over from their MMF store.
Yeah, that's just the toads, right? I love the toads, but they've got like totally not great unclean ones and totally not demon princes.
Totally not a lot of those things. Sorcerers, slash Herald, some larger stuff too, and maybe a Zinchi type model called the Harpy that will be. And
we had promoted it that I was going to paint on Tuesday, but now it's tomorrow. I'm painting on Friday or today if you listen to this in the car ride or something like that. So around Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, tune in, see some Dark Guy stuff. We'll be giving away 30 of them.
Yep, giving away tons of those. John Patrick in chat actually mentioned the Lunar Auxiliary Kickstarter. I think I had talked about it. So the Evil One it's up right now. If you like Chaos Renegades for Guard, that is actually up right now too on a Kickstarter. So you can get all those STLs. There's tanks, there's infantry, and for the most part, all those models are one part, which is really cool because they're a lot easier to print. So that is up right now, and it's super affordable, and it's already been funded as well. So lots of cool options out there for alternate minis, because it's like you get it when it hits the shelf. If you miss it, well, you're going to pay a premium these days. So the appeal to 3D printing is definitely real right now, for sure, with all the supply chains and everything going down in icy flames. And I have some stuff to talk about with GW in general, but I think Haspil wanted to talk a little bit more about the Kill Team Pariah Nexus box, which we have a release date on, and also potentially a price.
Yeah. Before we start that, I do want to give a shout out to bluewivren.com. And it looks like bluewivern.com, but it's Wivren. So WYVREN. Bluewivren.com. And they make a ton of like little terrain that is perfect for Kill Team. And I used to play a lot of Kill Team back in the day. We used to use the Heralds of Ruin rule set. And I just I want to steal a little bit of Rob's thunder by saying Kill Team's the best game you're not playing, other than maybe
Impossible.
It is a fantastic game. I've been getting back into it, especially with the whole, the COVID situation and everything. I'm playing some games remotely. And it is really easy. It's a lot easier to play Kill Team.
I could see that being a lot easier to play.
Yeah.
Than 40K.
It is phenomenal. So I would recommend folks give it a shot, but I think I need to dispel a couple of myths. So myth number one is that Kill Team, a lot of people think that Kill Team is a gateway drug to 40K. It's like an entry level game to 40K. It is not. It is a completely different game. And I think that's why you're seeing when these new codices come out, you're seeing GW releasing a Combat Patrol box, because I think Combat Patrol is your entry level 40K, because the rules are all the same. It's just less points. Kill Team actually has different rules. Now, if you already know how to play 40K, I could teach you how to play Kill Team in 10 minutes. Not even. You know what I mean? It's very, very simple to learn, but in a lot of ways it is more superior. A lot of people think that it is more complex. It is not. The movement phase and the charge phase are unified. So if you're going to charge somebody, you declare that charge and move in the movement phase. You do it all at once. And then when you get to the shooting phase, it's alternating activations. And a lot of, folks see the little tokens and stuff by your guys. That's what that's there to do, is just manage the alternating activations. And there is a strategy to how, which guys move, which guys charge, which guys ready. There's strategies behind that, but it is really, really well done. It is played on a very small board. It's played on basically a 22 by 30 board. So just one of the boards. So half the size of Combat Patrol.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very, very small.
It makes sense based on what you're telling me, because I do confuse them for Combat Patrol. Like, you're spot on about that. And so being like a bit of an objective game analysis that I am, what you just told me is like, that's a really good game system. That's a very modern and popular game system. Alternating activation, lumping actions together, like a charge action. A lot of games use that mechanic. Alternating activation for shooting. Like, that is very narrative, right? It's kind of like the small, like the more zoomed in on the battlefield you get, the more you get to do things like that. I think the confusion is that you're playing with the same models you're playing in 40K. Right. So we play the same models, but like we play a game of 40K with hundreds of them perhaps. So it's actually very zoomed out, and you have to stylize those concepts. And a lot of people want a lot of the elements that you just said in 40K, but it doesn't really work when we have like collectively 200 models on the table, and dozens of rules interactions that you have to kind of stylize it more. Right. Yeah.
And it's definitely more of a we go system versus a I go, you go system, which I prefer. So it is absolutely an absolute blast. It is way more narrative than 40K, especially if you're doing a campaign, and that's where I think people, because I saw when we were planning the show, a lot of people were talking about how there were a ton of extra rolls and all this stuff. There's one extra roll. And it's an injury roll. So you roll to hit, you roll to wound. And if you wound and the guy doesn't make a save, you roll an injury. On a 1 through 3, then the person takes a wound, like basically like a flesh wound is what it's called. And that affects their stats. So now they're at -1 to shoot. You know what I mean? To hit. Stuff like that. If it's a 4 or better, they're done. They're out.
It's like the vehicle damage chart. We already had one of those.
It's very easy.
No, that makes so much sense. And because you have less models on the table and it's zoomed in, and typically you'd play a game like this either with smaller scale models and more of them, or bigger scale models and less of them. We're seeing the same models we're used to seeing, but like what you need to be imagining is like, we're really zoomed in on this. We're hearing what these fucking guys are saying. And isn't it just as simple as like a bullet hit this dude's armor and he's fucking failed this armor save? There's more to it. Right. So I like that. And it also, game math wise, flattens curves a little bit better. So like streaky dice don't just end the day. It's got one more layer of redundancy to keep the game going, because you have less models, and that means you're more, you're at the whims of statistics a little bit more streakily. So I like that. That's a really, I didn't even know it was like that. Thank you for telling me.
It's really a lot of fun. It's really, really good. And one of the other thing is there's modifiers for, hiding behind cover. You get modifiers to hit and modifiers to wound, stuff like that. And I just want to kind of to put things in perspective points wise, right? First of all, a game of Kill Team is over in 30 minutes. And that's a remote game when we were learning and talking through the rules. You know what I mean? So it can go fast. The other thing is the average game of Kill Team, if you're not playing with elites or the commanders, is 100 points. That's what you're playing with. 100 points. And a game of Combat Patrol, to put that in perspective, is 500 points. If you're playing with the commanders, you're playing 200 points, because the commanders are obviously, expensive, expensive as all get out. And there's just some really interesting balance that has to go to it. You can play with as little as 3 models, of which I would think you'd be hard pressed, but that's like a Custodes, right? Custodes Kill Team, 3 models, but you're hard pressed to like hold objectives and stuff now. All the way up to maybe 15 models. I don't think you'd be playing with a whole lot more than that. And you have a ton of armies that may not be super optimal on big 40K that shine in Kill Team. Grey Knights are, I don't want to say they're OP, but they're very powerful in Kill Team. Sisters of Battle they shine in Kill Team because they're so cheap, but they still hit like Space Marines. Are still wearing power armor, but if a bunch of Tyranids get your sisters in melee, you're unhappy. It's not, so, and the arena format is some of the most balanced Warhammer stuff I've ever seen, like next to Warhammer Underworlds. The arena format is their like super competitive format. And somebody in the chat saying it's usually about 125 points. That makes sense. The idea behind it is you make up a roster of 20 different guys. And when you get to the game and you see what your opponent is playing, you're like, oh, he's playing NIDS and a lot of close combat. I'm going to want flamers. Then you assemble your kill team out of the guys that are in your roster. And so it minimizes the whole bad matchup idea, right? Because then you can tailor your army to whatever you're facing. So it works really, really, really well. I was super surprised by the new format. All the rules are essentially, if you don't want to play with elites or commanders, all the rules are in the main book for all the factions. Everything's right there. So it is really neat. And that kind of brings me into this Pariah Nexus thing, because Kill Team does need an update, and they haven't really updated the game. So it's still, it's using 9th edition rules, right?
Well, yeah, the last Kill Team box was Rogue Trader in 2018 and then Arena in 2019, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of built around 8th edition. You're still using 9th edition rule set as a basis, but it's its own rules. It's its own thing. But it does need an update. And the Pariah Nexus is supposed to come with the rules for all the models that are in Indomitus. That was one of the things that they were saying. So this might be like a closet update that we're kind of looking for. I expect to see that and maybe an FAQ or something come out in White Dwarf, because there are some factions that are in White Dwarf. The other thing I really like about it is I have a bunch of Gene Stealer cult models from Deathwatch Overkill. I was going to auction those off at the store auction, so I've been holding on to them. Not anymore. Now I'm going to have a Gene Stealer cult kill team, and lets me paint different models that I normally would not have even taken off the sprue. But now I'm like pumped for them. I'm like psyched. So I'm really looking forward to this Pariah Nexus thing. It is kind of just interesting because it is kind of imbalanced when you look at it on its face. You have the 5 heavy intercessors against 5 flayed ones with a chronomancer. And we do know that the terrain in there is going to mess with the Marines in some way. It is some kind of a maze.
Yeah, and I think the scarab, there's like built-in scarabs or something.
Scarabs or something that will mess. And so hopefully that kind of balances out. And another thing, one of the other things that, and unfortunately right now because of the supply thing, I think they're all sold out. But the kill teams also make kill zones that come with their own cards, their own rules that change the game just slightly.
So fortunately for you, Haspil, there was a leak, mostly because it contained the price of the kill team Pariah Nexus, but they're re-releasing those kill zones, and the kill zones also getting a book that collects up all the rules for the other kill zones before it. Like, because there was one for like the jungle terrain, and there was a couple different ones with like the crates and shit like that.
Yeah. And they weren't game breaking. They were just enough to change things, make it a little flavorful. You know what I mean? Just to change things up. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be really cool.
That is going to go on pre-order the 27th of this month. So I think delivery on March 6th, assuming, there isn't any more delays and things. And if you're a Dark Eldar player, sorry. Yeah, well, I mean, Dark Elder may came out the same week, or or they might get pushed back. It's hard to say. Like, we don't know, because they already announced. The Dark Elders. The next free mini is a Dark Eldar and a Reaver. Mm-hmm. Or no, it was a Slanesh. Wasn't it Slanesh?
Yeah, I thought the Reaver was this month.
Yeah, that's this month. So, and we know there's an Orc coin out there too. So crazy. It's trying to like pull all the things together and connect all the dots like Charlie Day and make it all presentable on a map. But there's just so much stuff out there. And we're getting a new preview this weekend, of course, that we didn't even mention. So, but yeah, one of the things I was saying there is that there was a leak for the release coming out in a couple of weeks. And it seems like somebody got a hold of the pricing, sent it to a bunch of folks. Like, we got an email about it. Like, hey, here's the pricing. Like, oh, this actually looks legit. This is interesting. And there's a way to take, anytime you get a price, whether it's in Great Britain pounds or euros, you can look it up on those sites and find something in that price range. Like for me, it was, I think the Tesseract Vault was 125 euros. So I was like, cool, what's the Tesseract Vault in US dollars? Oh, it's 160. Uh-oh, the new Pariah Nexus box might be $160.
That tracks because if it is a starter, right? If it's a sneaky closet starter, right?
Yeah.
The starter right now is 160. So that's with Tau and Space Wolves, I believe, and a bunch of terrain. So
yes, but I feel like there's more value in that box when it came out and immediately sold out.
Well, what's in this box?
So this box is the Chronomancer, the Necron Cryptek, 5 Flayed Ones, 5 Heavy Intercessors, and the Space Marine Captain with Heavy Bolt Rifle, or whatever bolt rifle.
Wait, aren't these those?
One he doesn't.
Aren't these the models that people wanted to buy separate?
So they're basically the last releases for both, Space Marines and Necrons and everything out of Indominus. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. It also comes with the Necron terrain that we talked about and 2 sets of boards. Now, this is taking place inside like an inside facility, like an underground facility or inside bunker, some sort of thing. Whereas with Arena, that took place in a ship, I believe.
Arena takes place indoors also, so it has a special like super close combat or super close confines rule set.
It was almost like a Zone Mortalis type deal. Yeah. So now
this new one does look more like Arena than the regular.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That was the point I was trying to make. So Kill Team Arena was $90. It was 2 sets of boards and a bunch of little doors and terrain pieces, like small ones, like terminals and terrain pieces. It was $90 when it came out. I think it's safe to say it didn't do well. I saw a lot getting clearanced and a lot of them just going away and never getting restocked. So if you take that price point and you add that to the mix here for this particular box set, you're looking at an interesting kind of amalgam of different interests. So you've got the 40K players that want the Intercessors, want the Captain, want the Flayed Ones.
To clarify, though, like Arena didn't come with any minis. It was just the boards and just the terrain.
So GW basically...
And a rule book, and a new rule book.
Yeah. So you can make the argument that GW basically took that model, added desirable kits for 40K to it, tried to package it together, paywall, because these models aren't out there separately. And obviously,
so I have to drop $160 to get some of the models that I wanted more of from Indominus that I couldn't get already.
Right.
That have been on the market. People have been struggling to get those models. So it does.
I actually don't think you could get those models. I think this is the first release.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so we've been waiting for these models to be released because we can only get Indominus.
Both of them. Both the Heavy Intercessors and the Flayed
and the Captain. So these are models that people have been craving since Indominus, and we already know like Indominus was hard to fucking get because of reasons, right? We did a whole podcast on it last year. And then so it does seem kind of shitty that the interest is there the interest is like boiling over that we want those fucking models already. And they put them in a box that we have to drop $1.60 on, but they give us value. Like they put things in the box that are like, see, but it's not just the models. You get all these other cool things too. But they are definitely putting this, like leapfrogging that interest. Like, hey, I know you just wanted these intercessors because you're an Ultramarine guy. It's $160, dog. I know you just wanted these flayed ones because it's $160, dog. Now, obviously, there's crossover, but I didn't understand what you were saying, Rob, until like that clicked. Where it's like, yeah, I'm not saying it's not worth $160, and Haspil made a really good point on that. It certainly is. It's just that the models they chose to put in that fucking box make me mad as fuck.
Yeah, it seems very deliberate. And, you know, I touched on this once they did the preview in my initial post right during the preview. I was like, oh, they're paywalling the last wave of releases for both of these factions. But, you know, and it's dangerous because you've got these folks that really want these on the 40K side, but then you've got people that play Kill Team that really all they want is just the tiles, you know, and the scenery and that book that comes in there, right? Mm-hmm. So you got people that are going to be buying these up for these minis, don't give a shit about this rest of the stuff, you know, maybe might eBay it, whatever. And then you've got these folks that really just want it for that.
And Rob, it's a box breaker's dream. It's got the models in it nobody can fucking get. And so you've brought up multiple times, like they don't have anything in place to stop bots from fucking spam buying these up and drying the market up.
They don't have They don't have anything as far as I can tell. They do have captchas on Forge World's site, from what I can see, but they will match up credit cards to addresses, and they will limit things to like one per address per. So you have to be, if you really want to try to get this and you know, try to profit with it, you're going to have to go to some great lengths to do it, because there are people watching this both automations and manually. But I think the point to make is that when you look at the value that's in this box, you know, you can split it with a friend. It's $80 each, right? And then you just figure out who gets the kill zone stuff. But we all know these are going to be allocated. And that's the problem, because if you don't get it on that day, what is already a paywall becomes a kick in the paywall, because like, who knows what these heavy intercessors and flayed ones are going to do once these things are sold out. I mean, this could be $80 just for 5 Marines. Like,
because it's not going to be $90. It's going to be $160, right?
But if you look at it, if you look at it, it is $80, like you were talking about, right? So it's like five heavy intercessors. We're going to just ballpark it, $50, right? We know the captain's 30. There's $80 right there. And then the same on the Necron side. Yeah. 5 flay ones, $50, you know, and then the Chronomancer, who is a character, so he's $30 right there. So yeah, so you're getting Kill Team part of it free,
which is the value GW has been really good at putting in these boxes. They create great value, undoubtedly. That's a valuable box. It's just that like I've been waiting since Indominus to get those fucking intercessors, and now I gotta drop 160 to get them.
So I think there's a couple of solutions here, you know, that we could look at, that Games Workshop can kind of keep the feel badsies down to a minimum. And first off, they could just change the price. These prices, these are rumors. They're probably on point. Rogue Trader was $130 US when it came out. So 160 doesn't seem too bad 3 years later. The Kill Zones were $80 when they came out. Now they're $100 according to these. And also accompanying these pricings was a picture of an unreleased picture of the Killzone book. So it's probably legit. So what Games Workshop can do is, hey, they could just change the price. It doesn't have to be 160. If they don't want it to be, it doesn't have to be. They could say it's 130. Hell, they could say it's $100, whatever. Or what they could do is they could say, hey guys, we recognize that there's a lot of folks out there that really want these heavy intercessors, or, you know, for you Dirty Xenos players, these flayed ones. We get that. We're really sorry. Like, things are happening right now faster than we can like anticipate, keep up with. But here's what we're going to do. we are going to open up the MTO orders special for this, just like we would do with Indominus to try to solve this.
Yeah.
You can put an order in right now for those heavy intercessors at X price, whatever they're going to be. They're probably going to be $35 for 5, $60 for the 10, like they normally do. And we'll get you sorted in like 120 days, whatever it is, 180, 120 days. And let's be real, those are not coming out separately for probably 3 to 4 months like they normally do. I mean, we saw Gazgul and Ragnar come out in March of 2020. Then they released October or November separately of 2020. So that was like a hot 6 months. So it's really just the same thing. And I would immediately, if they did that, I would immediately buy more flayed ones made to order. I'm still going to buy the Pariah Nexus thing, but that's for Kill Team. You know what I mean? But I would order more. I want a lot of flayed ones. When I used to play with flayed ones, I had batches of 20 deep striking in on people. It was a nightmare. But I'm not buying, the overpriced flayed ones off eBay that from somebody
or $160 boxes to get your fucking all your
No. It's going to be feel badsies. And, we've talked about how, we've talked about 3D print in the past. And I was
going to mention that. It's like, this is like just making me want to just 3D print heavy intercessors.
So the files are out there.
Yeah.
The heavy intercessor files. I know of at least 3 sets that are out there that look just as good as these models. Now, I'm not saying, hey, go out there and print you some models. And, I'm not even saying if that's right or wrong. I'm saying
that's what's going to fucking happen.
I mean, let's be real. That's what's going to happen for a lot of folks is they're going to have their heavy intercessors.
Yeah. Instead of spending $160 on this box, this might be the last straw. And I'm just finally going to jump in and buy a fucking 3D printer.
But I think at the end of the day, what it's really going to come down to for all of this, for this whole 3D printing phenomenon, this whole supply chain issues and all of this is, will hobbyists continue to buy things off the shelf, even if they're 3D printing responsibly or not? That's up to you. I'm not going to say what's right or what's wrong.
I will buy things off the shelf. Like that's an easy call for me.
But also if you are also 3D printing, that's what I'm saying. Because, a lot of people that 3D print never really got in the hobby. So they're like, oh shit, I can really just buy 3D minis.
Printing, so.
Yeah. But
I mean, I have bought models. I've bought third-party models. And to me, I like that they're 3D printed because the detail is really cool, but I haven't been buying models that exist. Like I've been buying models that don't exist. You know what I mean?
Right.
That are unique.
Yeah. I think Rob, I think there's a person in this discussion who's like, doesn't 3D print models from GW because they define that personally as something that's wrong. And they have been totally loyal to Games Workshop and are going to hear this news about this Pariah Nexus and be very feel baded. They're like, this is upsetting because I have literally been sitting on a fucking heavy intercessor STL in my fucking STL folder for like 4 months. I didn't print it because I knew you guys would sell it to me and I want to give you $50 for it. But like, fuck you now. And so if one guy feels that way, there's more than one guy who feels that way. That's
absolutely
playing with fire, playing with fire, GW.
That's why GW needs to get on top of this because we're at a tipping point.
I will give you money. It's with the app. It's the same thing, Rob. I'm sorry. It's the same thing. Like I will give you the fucking money if you make it accessible.
Yep.
When you make it not accessible, I will find ways not to give you the fucking money.
These facts are proven. All we have to do is go back 20 years and look at Napster versus Apple iTunes. The end of argument. If you give people a way to buy this
is Rob's TED Talk right here. Like, yeah.
They will do it. But if you make it inaccessible and very hard to do, we get Napster. And the hobby doesn't need Napster. It'll always be there, sure. And it'll be there. And
you always have the guys that'll try to game it. Always. You can't get rid of those people.
But overall, and I think there's a pivot coming, and I think there's definitely we're at the tipping point right now with all the things, the macro things in the world We all know what they are. There's no sense getting into it. So I think GW needs to, they've got a tough couple 2 weeks internally to figure out with the snowstorm stuff and, you know, what the call is going to be on this Pariah Nexus, because if they call up stores and they're like, yo, you're only getting 3.
Well, and I suspect that's what's going to happen, right? Because
it's probably
there's supply chain problems, the COVID situation, the lockdowns, that hasn't changed.
It has not. So
the expectation that all of a sudden each store is going to get 10 Pariah Nexuses is not realistic. They're going to have to allocate them. So I think you're the made to order.
I think it would be a good solution.
I think that is the solution.
That's obviously the solution. That's
the way.
And it's a thing they've done.
The badsies down. Yeah. They've done it before.
Mm-hmm. It's a model they already have used to fucking mitigate field badsies.
You've already waited. You've got other stuff to paint. Like, let's be honest, right? You've got other stuff to paint. You just need to know that those models are coming to you
at some point. And, you know, some people in the chat said, hey, I got an email from G-Dub about my Forge roll. You know, my orders are behind right now because of X, Y, and Z. And they actually apologize to people, you know. And so that, I think, is good. A good foot forward. But there's just a lot of shit happening right now.
Rob, what did you say that they don't call it allocation anymore? What do they call it now?
I believe they said, gosh, I forget now myself. They put out the sheet and then it didn't say allocation. It said, max, I think, like you can get up to. They didn't say it was, specifically an allocation. It was, caps. You're capped at this many. You can get up to this many. Yeah. It's not guaranteed.
They were like, oh, we're sorry. We were calling it something that wasn't. We didn't mean to mean allocation. We meant like these are your caps.
Yeah, and
so
you know,
send us our caps. Let us do some made to order shit. And let's fucking move on with our lives. Or you're gonna get a whole generation and wave of people sitting at home getting mad as fuck, just 3D printing heavy incinerators, heavy intercessors. Like,
yep, it's tough. It's a tough time for everyone out there. So just, you know, be patient with each other, and that's all we can do. We're all in this together, right?
Yeah, it's a little spicier than I thought it was. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, wait, what's the problem here? Oh, I see now. Like, so it's a dope box with a lot of value. As always, GW is the king of creating sick boxes with value.
Mm-hmm.
But the things they put in that box are controversial.
It's a little spicy. So we'll see.
Hot off the heels of what I'm calling, and I wrote it down, Mike Haspil's Kill Team Mythbusters segment.
No, it's a really good game. Like, give it a whirl. I think you guys will like it. It is a lot of fun.
I mean, it seems fun, and obviously this box seems dope, right? It's just. And they said that they're going to put it out. Like, I heard that they said that GW was like, yeah, don't worry, we'll put out the other boxes soon. But, like, GW has an interesting, like, book of definitions when it comes to words that we would kind of, like, genuinely accept as, like, what soon means. Mm-hmm. So you can't really trust things like that. You know what I mean? When it comes from them.
And even the best laid plans, I mean, we saw it this week. They had to close down the North American
allowances.
warehouse.
It's called allowances. Someone in chat. The caps. The GW caps. Yeah, that's right. So they're making allowances for these stores, capping them. They need to just also make these to order. That's right. Oh, my God. Sorry, Rob. I just saw that in chat. Just didn't mean to cut you off. So
it's all good. Yep. So there's a pivot coming.
It is, man.
Be interesting.
I feel like that every day GW does something like this, they don't realize that like 10 people who are on the fence about not buying their models, like jump over that fence. Like,
yeah, and it's unfortunately like that instant gratification thing, because I'm thinking, how many people who want those heavy intercessors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are going to get around to assembling and painting them and feeling them on the tabletop within a week of buying them. That's in the single digit percentages. Yeah. They just want to have them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I'm like, that made to order solution, You got them. They're coming. Don't worry about it. Paint your other stuff.
Yeah. I just need to see that email invoice, and that just gives me that fucking endorphin release.
Know that you have them coming. That's it.
You ever buy a pack of magic cards, rip it open, and just get the endorphin rush, and just like throw it on the ground, not even looking there? Like it's like, all I needed was
Yeah. You just need to know you have them.
Mm-hmm. I'll look at them later. I'll paint them later. Well, I feel like that might be the natural conclusion, Rob, unless you have more to add to it, solution-wise.
I think we hit it. I think we hit it all up. Yeah. All right, Haspil, take us out of here.
All right. So congrats to NASA. That's a new one. Blue sky on Mars.